Hello guys, welcome to the channel. So today I want to do a build guide and a little bit of gameplay of a pretty cool build, which is the Tesladin. Now the Tesladin relies on the rune word Dream. He's similar to the Dragon Din, where he uses Hand of Justice and Dragon rune words, but the Tesladin uses the rune words Dream. Now you're gonna need a dream shield and a dream helm, so it's two jaw runes you're gonna have to invest. But this is a very, to make it more viable for higher player levels, it's very rune word intensive, right? So one of the cool things for the Tesladin over the Dragon Din is that you can use the rune word Enigma. A Dragon Din is a 3-piece. You need the shield, you need the Hands of Justice weapon, and the armor. But a Tesladin, you don't need an armor. You're not using the Dragon rune word or a Dream rune word. There is no Dream rune word for armor, so you can use Enigma. So some people gear it towards Magic Find. They'll use something like a Lastwish that gives you MF, Enigma, stuff like that, to do Magic Find with the aura. Some people gear it towards the Zeal attack. That's going to be your secondary attack. So they'll use something like a Grief, right? Now, I'm using something a little bit more different, is the Crescent Moon. Crescent Moon has two cool things about it. Number one is the 7% to cast static field, and the number two is minus 35 to enemy lightning res. So that's gonna really help your Holy Shock aura to pack a bigger punch, right? So you have 30 to Holy Shock, so 15 and 15 they stack. So you have 30 to Holy Shock, and it really packs a punch. So you're gonna be running Conviction. I know some people will do a build where they'll run Fanaticism and they'll use a mercenary, an Act 2 mercenary, to use Conviction. For me, I'm gonna run Conviction. Now some people will get an Act 1 mercenary to use the Faith Bow to give them Fanaticism. I chose to do an Act 2 mercenary. It fits kind of my gameplay a little bit better because I don't need Fanaticism to boost up my Zeal, right? Most of my damage is coming from the Holy Shock, and my Zeal is just a secondary skill to help kill the monsters, right? So I'm not really worried about my Zeal. So I'm not worried about it. So I'm not going to do an Act 1 mercenary with Faith. I'm not going to do an Act 2 mercenary with Infinity, because I'm running my own Fanaticism. I decided to do the Act 5 mercenary. Now my Act 5 mercenary is using a Last Wish for the Might aura and to be able to use Life Tap, to proc Life Tap. Since I'm not using a Dracula's Grasp or something like an Exile, I need Life Tap from somewhere, so that's why I gave him Last Wish. And the second weapon is going to be Plague for that 16 to cleansing aura, and he can proc lower resist. So now we have our Conviction aura, right? Lowering enemy resist. We have lower resist being procced by a mercenary. We have minus 35 lightning res here, and then we have our Sunder Charm. So at every step of the way, the enemy's resistances is being lowered to really help our Holy Shock do as much damage as it can. Now on a Dragon Din, it has higher tick damage, right? So with the 3-piece, the Hands of Justice, and the 2-piece Dragon, you're doing more tick damage, right? Here, it's less tick damage, but it gives you the ability to gear and spec a little bit more freely, right? You can choose what armor you want to run. You can run Fortitude if you want to be more melee based. You can use Enigma if you want to teleport. You could switch around your weapons. You can use a Last Wish on your character to MF. You could use a Grief if you want to really boost up those Zeal numbers. You can use Crescent Moon. So it's very versatile. It's very, very versatile. So the way I'm running it, let's just run through the gear. We have Dream Helmet, a Dream Sacred Tarsh. This had 45 base res and a roll to 59. Enigma. We got a 20 IAS gloves with a little bit of life leech, 10 CP. We have Ravenfrost. We have Bolcatho's Ring. We have GoreRiders. We have Arach. The Arach is going to help with our FCR when we're teleporting around. And Highlords Wrath for the IAS, 1 to all skills, Deadly Strike. And then the main items here are your dual dreams, right? On swap, I have a CTA with a Vigor. Now, Vigor is nice when you run out of mana teleporting and you really need to move. You need to run around, you need to move. You turn on your Vigor and you run, right? So, since teleport's such a mana-intensive move, and we're not really a caster, I'm not putting skill points into mana. I'm not using items that's going to give us mana regen, so we run out of mana fast. That's why I built a CTA in this base that gives me 1 to Vigor, so I can really move. Now let's check out our Mercenary. Again, he has Lastwish, Plague, Fortitude, and Andes. Now, before we do the skill tree and attributes, let's go check out some cows. Let's go do some cows here. Right? Oh, we're near Cow King, so let's run away from Cow King. And let's look at our tick damage. Right? And you can see the cows are just melting. Cows are melting. We're taking a little bit of damage here, but our cows are melting. Mercenaries doing his thing. Life taps procking. Lower resist is procking. And look at that. Cows are just melting. This is a really fun build, you know. And this is now if we want to get into some action, right? Oh. These cows are dying before I can land some zeals, right? We want to get into some action here. The cows just melt. This build is really fun. Let's do some battle orders. Let's get our holy shield going. And what can I say? What can I say? This is almost like a cheat code. It feels like a cheat code. You know what I mean? You're doing so much damage. We're doing so much damage that we just gotta stand here, basically. Right? Our mercenary is gonna proc lower resist. Our mercenary is gonna proc life tap. Right? And with this Enigma, it gives us a little bit more movability, right? And look at that, we just stand here. You can see the tick damage just bringing these guys down. So, this is where it's at. Right, ooh, superior mage. I wonder if three socket, 10 defense. Look at this, guys. Right? If it was a 15-15, I would be super happy. But it's a 3 socket, 10 defense. Right? 5 off from perfect defense, 1 off from perfect durability. But this is a nice find. Right? Now, cows is a great place to farm bases. And looky here. Right? 3 socket, 10 defense. I'm super happy with this. Do I have room? I do not have room. Let's put this here. Now, let's look at our skill tree. So, for combat skills, we're going to max out Zeal. Right? As many points as you can into Sacrifice. A couple points into Holy Shield to get our 75 block. 75% block. And then one hit wonders. Just to open up these moves. Now offensive, we're gonna need enough points to get that 150 all res. So for me with my gear, the way it's spec'd, I only need 16 base points for me to hit 150 all res because of my items that I'm wearing, right? Like Arachnids, Enigma, right? So it's base 16, but it's level 26, right? Everything else, one hit wonders. And then here for our defensive aura, this is where a lot of our points go. So we need 20 full points into lightning resist and 20 full points into salvation. Now you're gonna ask why? Cause it's a synergy for Holy Shock. So Holy Shock for its damage is 12% lightning damage for resist lightning and 4% lightning damage for salvation. So even though we don't have a point into Holy Shock, right? Our Holy Shock's coming from our items, right? So 15, 15, 30. We still want to boost up the damage with the synergies. That's why we max out salvation, 20 points. Lightning resist, 20 points. One hit wonders here, right? One hit wonders everywhere else. Enough points to get 150 all res for conviction, and for us is 16 base points. And then everything else into combat. So max out zeal, a few points into holy shield to get our 75% block, and then the rest into sacrifice to boost up our zeal. So that's the skill tree. Let's look at attributes, right? Attributes, enough points to run Enigma. Enigma is going to give us 67 to strength. It fluctuates the higher your character level goes up, but we have 71 base points into strength, 111 base points into dex, and nothing into energy, everything else into vitality. Now dex, we want to put enough points into dex where we have 75% chance to block, and that's with our holy shield activated, right? So we want to activate our holy shield and start putting our points into dex until we get 75% to block, right? And you need a little bit higher dex because you could be running a phase blade. Phase blade has the highest IAS, base IAS for your paladin. So if you want to run whatever you're running, Grief, Lastwish, Crescent Moon, you want to do it in a phase blade base for you to hit the fastest. Now with this build, right, we're at 60 IAS, so we don't hit the last breakpoint. The last breakpoint for Zeal is 72 IAS, right? And I'll put the IAS breakpoints on the screen, but we're hitting the second last breakpoint, which is 54. So to hit 72, even if I run something like a Nosferatu's, right, that's still 70 IAS. So I won't be able to use a Crescent Moon, right? I'm gonna have to use a Grief to hit that last breakpoint, to hit that 72 IAS. But since I want my build to be mostly centered around my Holy Shock Holy Shock aura with the minus 35 enemy lightning res, that's why I'm using Crescent Moon. I won't be able to hit that 72 IAS breakpoint, so I decided no need for a Nosferatu or something like that. Let's use a Arachnid's Mesh for the FCR to help us teleport a little bit better. So that's the way I chose to gear him up. So we saw him doing cows, right? Let's go check out Chaos. That's another great place to magic find. You can see our mercenary hit his fade from the Lastwish, so he's boosted up. He's living the good life right now, and he's a beast. This Act 5 mercenary, he's a beast. Let's teleport here, and you can just see this Holy Shock aura just melts. It just melts. It's almost like a cheat code. You just stand here, baddies just start melting. And our mercenary, he's no slouch either. Our mercenary really packs a punch, right? He's gonna start proccing life tap. He's gonna start proccing lower resist. He's gonna be proccing all kinds of good stuff. And we just basically run around, hit the baddies with a couple zeals, right? While they get melted away with the Holy Shock. So I want to be able to get to Diablo. So we're just going to skip all this. Let's just pop the seals. Right? I want to show you guys the damage he does to Diablo. Ooh, an amulet. So we got that really cool base. Let's see if we could find anything else cool here. Just teleport. Hit this next seal. See our buddy Grand Vizier. And mana it sometimes becomes an issue with this build because of the Enigma. Because of the teleport, we run out of mana fast. But that's okay. Get our holy shield. But you really see how this build melts. And this is the reason why I chose a bigger base for my CTA. Because you're gonna run out of mana. You're gonna run out of mana teleporting. So a nice CTA base with bigger, right, helps you move a little bit faster. Right? Oh, look at this. Just boom. He's gonna melt. Everyone's just melting. Sorry, I didn't have conviction on, but with conviction it melts. So let's see how fast we could take out our buddy Diablo. I want to say maybe 5 seconds. Keep in mind this is P1. This is P1 Diablo. I want to say 5 seconds. And sorry, we hit that last seal and I didn't even have the conviction aura going. I was wondering why the baddies weren't dying as fast as I'm used to. I didn't have the conviction aura going, but you could really see how this build really excels. It's great for Ubers. It's great for declone. It's great for all kinds of PvP. Sorry, PVM. For PvP, he's not... I would choose something like a Vindicator for PvP, right? He's not really a PvP based build. He's more for PVM, but he's a really fun build. He is quite expensive, especially when you want to gear him well. Because look at the rune word I'm running on this build. We got Enigma, Jaw and Burr, Jaw, right? 3 Jaws in Lastwish, right? A Cham, you know, a Low. So it's if you want to maximize his effectiveness with these rune words, it's a very, very expensive build. Where if you want to do something easier like a Hammered In, right, for general gameplay, what are you gonna need? You could do it with 2 spirits. Spirit Shield, Spirit Sword. Hammered In's pretty good. You give him a Hodo and Enigma and he's laughing. You know, give him a Shaco, Hodo, Enigma. You could play almost all the content. So this is a very expensive build, but it's a very fun build, and I would recommend it. You know, in the following video, maybe in the next video, we'll look at a Dragon Den build with the Dragon rune word, Dragon armor, Hand of Justice, and Dragon Shield. So Shield, armor, Hand of Justice. We'll look at that build next. It's not as versatile. I prefer the Tesladin better because you can use Enigma, because you can switch the weapon around. You can run a Grief, you can run a Lastwish, but that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for checking out my channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.